I wanted to show you a project I made a few months ago. My oldest daughter, Rachel, had started to lose her first tooth, and I wanted to do something kind of fun. So I had a piece of wood that I thought would be fun to try this with, and so I made a what I call a tooth fairy box. So this is just a small turned wooden box that opens up here. It's got a tight fit here. That opens up to have a little compartment inside, and I sized it so that a tooth would of course fit, but you'd also be able to fit a quarter or another small stack of coins or a folded over bill, or whatever your preference inside of it. And then she could leave this under her pillow for the tooth fairy. And so I went ahead and turned this small little box. It was a fun little project to make something so small, and it turned out rather well. I used Shee Oak, which is from Australia, and this is another piece of the blank that I used. And this wood has very strong rays. The marks that you see here are not part of the normal grain pattern. Rays are typically show up in quarter sawn wood, and of course when you turn something you can see it as well. Shee Oak has very pronounced rays, and it produces this really beautiful effect that you can see in the side here, and also in the finished wood here as well. So those lines you see running across are the rays themselves, and then on the side of the wood you can see them come through in quite a nice way. So this was actually turned not in a way that was a grain matching, but I first turned the lid, and I turned it like this. If you're going to imagine it on the end of the lathe with it mounted here on the left hand side. So I first turned this with the inside of the lid, and then I parted that off, and I turned down this piece here so that I could have a jam fit on this side and press this on there. And then I finished nearly entirely the outside, and then afterwards I popped this off and hollowed out the inside and finished that as well, finishing lastly with the bottom. And then to finish the bottom, I actually took another piece and I created a jam chuck as well to put this in there so that I could put those two together. So anyway, this is my little box, and it was very fun to do, and had a lot of fun with it, and we used it a couple times now. Rachel's lost a few teeth, so I wanted to show you that project that I'd made. I ended up buying the blanks from Macbeth Hardwoods. The closest one to me is in Salt Lake City, and they had a handful of these blanks. They were square, and I bought a few and rounded them up. So I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with the rest of this. It is worth noting that I did crack the wood just ever so slightly when I was putting the top on. I can't find the place anymore, but I ended up using some super glue some CA glue to bind that back together, and it worked just fine. So anyway, I used the wire burn along the edge, which helps hide the edge as well. So that when you close the box, then it hides the edge quite nicely, and works a little bit better too. The grain won't line up exactly because of the way that I turned it, but you can end up aligning them, and it comes out looking quite neat. Any fun projects? Thought I'd share.